Hi everyone, this is your daily weather hazard briefing from the National Weather Service office here in Pocatello, Idaho for Thursday, March 28th. We've got more moisture headed our way as we go throughout the day today. In fact, we do already have some rain and snow moving across pretty much all of eastern Idaho. If it hasn't started where you're at yet, don't worry, it will shortly. So that's what we can expect as we go throughout the day today. More of that. Again, mostly rain for our valley locations and snow for the mountains. That's not to say we won't see any snow mixing in down here at the valleys. For most of the Magic Valley and Snake Plain, any accumulation should be little to none, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in a couple of graphics when we talk about snow and maybe where there is a little bit of potential for some of the snow forecast to overperform if we see that. It will be breezy to even windy at times today. For most of us, gusts will be around 25 to 35 miles per hour. We could see some locally higher gusts out across parts of the Arco Desert near the INL area or even into parts of the upper Snake Plain with gusts closer to 40 miles per hour, even just a little bit higher. We will dry out tonight. This system moving through is a pretty quick moving one. And we get a bit of a break on Friday. However, we've got more moisture headed our way as we get into Friday night and then continuing kind of on and off through the weekend for us. But here's a look at satellite this morning. Looking at the Pacific Northwest here, you can see plenty of moisture streaming in from the Pacific. A lot of it over Idaho at the moment. And once this is through, again, we get that little bit of a break, but notice that low still spinning just off the coast of the Pacific Northwest there. It's going to hang out there through today and then slowly drop southward, but we've got more moisture headed our way, like I mentioned, as we kind of get into Friday night and Saturday. Here's our weather risk outlook grid for the next few days. For most of us, not too many impacts today, but again, as you go up in elevation where you start to see some more snow, then you will see a few more impacts. And keep in mind, with the wind, those of us that do see a little bit more snow could deal with a little bit of blowing and drifting snow or just times of reduced visibility and some impacts to travel there. So if you're headed up into the mountains, make sure you give yourself some extra time and be a bit more cautious. Overall, a little bit of a break on Friday, keeping things relatively quiet before more overnight moisture works its way into the area. We'll see some of that continue on and off through Saturday and Sunday. And looks like we get a little bit of a break as we get into Monday again. Here's a look at our high temperatures for today, although keep in mind for a lot of us that'll be the temperatures really through the morning. Once the cold front comes through, well, we'll start to drop our temperatures behind it. So you may be walking out the door this morning to temperatures in the mid-40s, and then by the time you step out this afternoon, temperatures more so in the upper 30s. Wind gusts this afternoon, can mention that earlier, but a lot of us will see wind gusts around 25 to 35 miles per hour. Farther north or even up to the mountains where you could see some of those stronger wind gusts closer to that 40 mile per hour. As far as that moisture goes today, again, as I mentioned, most of us down here in the valleys will generally see rainfall out of this. Typically about 0.15 to 0.3 of an inch. Could have some locally higher amounts if we get a little bit of convection trying to go this afternoon, but for the most part, again, about 0.15 to 0.3 of an inch. We did end up with a winter weather advisory for the Island Park area and then down south for the Bear River Range, mainly because got some higher snow totals in that area. Island Park, generally looking around 6 to 8 inches of snow, similar totals down south. But again, if you get to some of the mountain peaks, you could be closer to that 12-inch mark. All right, so any potential for some snow mixing in is there. Where could we see a little bit of this overperform? I'd say there's about a 30 to 40% chance that from Pocatello to Idaho Falls, we end up with an inch of snow by early Friday morning. That'd be a bit more likely on elevated surfaces or those grassy areas. Thankfully, our road temperatures have been pretty warm. Keep in mind, too, down in parts of the southeastern highlands, some of our short range, high res models earlier this morning wanted to hint at the potential for some higher snowfall in that area. So the most likely snowfall totals probably lie somewhere around a 2, 3, maybe 4-inch range, but a couple of those high-res models do want to give about a 30% chance of 5 inches of snow in that area. So again, if it were to overperform, it's probably going to be in the southeastern highlands there. A lot of that hinging on just a 1 or 2 degree difference as we go through the day today. Temperatures as we get into Friday morning, of course, will have dropped behind the cold front. A lot of us in the 20s to kick things off. Warming back into the 40s for the most part in the afternoon. Going to get that little bit of a break as we kind of clear things out on Friday in between systems. Wind gusts much lighter, most of us around 15 miles per hour. So just kind of your normal day. As we get into Saturday, again, we are going to start to see more moisture head back into the area. Temperatures in the morning starting off right around 30 degrees for a lot of us down here in the valleys, but plenty of 20s and even a few mid and upper teens up north. As we get into Saturday, highs will mainly, once again, be in the 40s, so that's why we will see kind of that mix of some rain and snow as we go through the weekend, with that next push of moisture going to be headed our way at that point. All right, so here is our summary. Again, we've got some more widespread rain and snow for pretty much all of eastern Idaho today. Breezy to even windy at times. Most of us 25 to 35 miles per hour. A few spots where we could see some higher gusts closer to 40 miles per hour. This is a pretty quick moving system, so most of us are dry by midnight tonight, and we get to enjoy a bit of that short break from some of the active weather on Friday before more moisture returns as we get into Friday night and Saturday morning, and kind of continuing on and off through the weekend. Of course, if you have any questions about the weather or the forecast, you can always find the latest information on social media or on our website. Of course, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email too. Have a great day.